For thousands of years, the Amazon rainforest has been home to peoples who live not in opposition to nature, but in rhythm with it. Their knowledge is not written in books. It lives in stories, ceremonies, soil, and song, passed down through generations, rooted in respect, shaped by the forest itself. Across this vast region, over 400 distinct indigenous groups have shaped and protected this extraordinary ecosystem. They are the guardians of the forest, its memory keepers, its future. In this episode, we'll explore how indigenous communities have preserved the Amazon through traditional wisdom, sustainable practices, and a spiritual bond with the land. And we'll see why protecting their rights is one of the most powerful ways we can protect the rainforest itself. Because when we listen to the forest, we often find that it speaks in the voices of its people. The Amazon rainforest is one of the most biologically diverse places on Earth, and it's also one of the most culturally rich. Within this vast and vibrant region live more than 400 distinct indigenous groups, each with their own languages, beliefs, traditions, and ancestral knowledge. Some communities live near rivers, others in highland forests. Some welcome visitors, others have chosen voluntary isolation to protect their way of life. But all share a deep and enduring connection to the land, not as property, but as a relative, a living, breathing presence woven into their identity. To speak of the Amazon is to speak of its people. They are not separate from the forest. They are part of its story and its survival. For centuries, indigenous communities have lived in balance with the Amazon, drawing what they need, never more, and always giving back. This isn't coincidence. It's knowledge, refined over generations, rooted in observation, respect, and spiritual understanding. From rotational farming that allows the forest to generate, to agroforestry systems that mimic the layered structure of the rainforest, to the careful harvesting of plants used for food, shelter, and healing, these practices reflect a sophisticated understanding of ecology. Many of the plants we now study for their medicinal potential were first known by indigenous healers, used to treat illness, soothe pain, and restore balance. In the upper reaches of the Peruvian Amazon, the Wampas Nation practices agroforestry systems that regenerate soil health, increase biodiversity, and support the complex system of flying rivers, evapotranspiration flows that sustain water cycles across South America. This is more than sustainability. It's a relationship, one in which the forest is not just a resource, but a teacher, a relative, a source of life. And through that relationship, These communities care for the Amazon in ways modern systems are only beginning to understand. To many Indigenous communities, the Amazon is not just a home, it's sacred. Every tree, every river, every animal is more than matter. It's spirit. It's story. It's alive. Spiritual beliefs vary from one community to another. Some speak of guardian spirits that dwell in the forest. Others honor ancestors whose spirits still dwell within the land. But across cultures, there's a shared reverence, a recognition that humans are not separate from nature, but part of a greater whole. This spiritual connection is more than a belief system. It's a guiding force, shaping how communities hunt, harvest, build, and live. It inspires respect, restraint, and a fierce commitment to protect the forest, not only for their own people, but for all life that depends on it. When we speak of biodiversity in the Amazon, we're not just talking about the number of species. We're talking about the people who protect them. Research has shown that Indigenous managed lands are among the most biodiverse and best preserved ecosystems in the Amazon. These communities don't just live in the rainforest. They actively sustain it. Through generations of careful stewardship, they've preserved vital habitats, maintained ecological balance, and protected endangered species without fences, pesticides, or extraction. In fact, studies have found that deforestation rates inside Indigenous territories are significantly lower than in surrounding areas, even in regions under pressure from logging and development. This isn't accidental. It's the result of a worldview that sees humans not as rulers of nature, but as participants in a living system. By honoring the land, Indigenous communities have become some of the most effective conservationists on Earth. Despite their critical role in protecting the Amazon, Indigenous communities across the region face mounting threats to their land, their lifeways, and their future. Land grabbing, oil exploration, illegal logging, illicit crops, and extractive industries continue to push deeper into Indigenous territories, fragmenting ecosystems and violating long-standing protections. Whether a community shares its culture openly with the outside world or chooses to live in quiet isolation, every Indigenous community has the right to determine its own path, to maintain its traditions, its autonomy, and its safety. Other Indigenous groups often play a vital role in protecting their more isolated neighbors, advocating for their rights, helping monitor boundaries, and preventing intrusion. Because human rights include the right to belong, to a land, to a people, to a way of life. And they include the right to live without interference. When Indigenous rights are violated, the forest suffers too. Their safety, Their sovereignty and their stories are inseparable from the Amazon's survival. And in protecting them, we protect one of Earth's last great living systems and the wisdom that keeps it alive. Every language spoken in the Amazon carries more than words. It carries a way of seeing the world, of naming the rivers, the seasons, the spirit of each tree. Indigenous knowledge is not simply folklore. It's a living system of ecological insight, spiritual wisdom, and practical expertise refined over thousands of years in direct relationship with the land. From medicinal remedies still unknown to modern science, to soil restoring planting techniques, to forest stewardship strategies that prevent fire and preserve biodiversity, this knowledge is irreplaceable. But it's also fragile. Colonization, economic pressure, and climate displacement have already eroded many traditions and languages. As elders pass on, so do stories, songs, and skills that may never be recovered. Yet across the Amazon, communities are rising to preserve their heritage. They're recording oral histories, reviving ceremonies, teaching the next generation, not out of nostalgia, but out of determination. Because this knowledge is not just cultural, it's practical, ecological, and globally relevant. They are preserving medicinal plant knowledge that has inspired treatments for infections, inflammation, and even cancer. Agricultural systems that restore soil health, support biodiversity, and thrive without synthetic inputs. Forest management practices that conserve water, store carbon, and reduce fire risk. And spiritual and ethical frameworks grounded in reciprocity, restraint, and reverence for life. These are not relics of the past. They are tools for the future, for healing ecosystems, feeding communities, and living in balance on a planet in crisis. It's taken us far too long to understand this, that Indigenous rights are not just an environmental issue. They're a matter of justice, of memory, of healing. Around the world, Indigenous peoples have been pushed from their lands, stripped of their languages, their governance, their sacred places, in the name of progress. And yet, they endure, not just with resilience, but with a depth of wisdom the world is only beginning to recognize. We can't change the past, but we can remember, we can grieve, and we can begin again with respect, humility, and responsibility to do better. Protecting the Amazon means more than protecting trees. It means restoring relationships, shifting from extraction to reciprocity, from domination to collaboration, from ignoring Indigenous voices to elevating them with humility and respect. Because the forest doesn't need saving. It needs space to thrive. alongside the people who've always known how to live in a way that not only nurtures themselves, but also nurtures the environment that sustains them. And if we're willing to walk forward differently, not as saviors, but as students, then we can begin a different kind of restoration. A restoration of dignity where it was denied, of respect where it was withheld, of balance where it was broken. We can stop repeating the harm and start protecting what remains, honoring what endures, and learning from those who never stopped listening to the land.